Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Emily Bowie. I'm a producer and engineer here in Nashville, Tennessee. And today's video is a little bit of a request. I do get a lot of questions about how to use the mixing template that I have available for a 2-track plus vocal style of music or production. And so I wanted to go over that really quick in this video so that you'll know how to merge the new template that you've just downloaded with this style of music with a 2-track and vocals. Now, I would recommend you not using this as a recording template. It's not really what it was designed to do. So what I recommend doing is just creating a separate session for your recording. So imagine if this was just for my production and I was making my 2-track here and then I've got my vocals recorded on that. The next thing that I would do is just duplicate that. So if this is my recording session that I have here in Pro Tools, what I would do is just right click that, duplicate it, save it as whatever the song name is, and mix one, or however you like to label in your file management. So imagine this is the duplicate from the recording session. So I've got all of my tracks here, everything's consolidated down, nice and ready to go for mixing. So the next thing you do is, of course, merge your template into that. And so you'll select on the last audio track, and then you will go into Import Session Data, and you will choose the mixing template that you have. And then I like to just select all of everything here. You'll just click on the top one, hold down Shift, and select the last track there. And everything's going to get converted, right? So the template is in 96K. That's just to have it as the highest in case that's what somebody was going to be recording in. The destination sample rate is 44.1. That's what we recorded our tracks in. And I already have this template imported and brought in, so I'm not going to hit OK because that would just be putting in extra stuff that we don't need already. So all of these tracks will come up, right? So I have inactivated and hid the majority of them. And you can see over here, we'll get a better view of that, of all of the tracks that are now inactive and hidden. But they're all right here, just so you can, reference back to. So what you'll do is you'll just kind of see, which ones you think might work. And for this 2-track production, I don't know yet. We've got our parallel buses over here. We've got the drum bus, the drum crush, music bus, and the vocal bus. So probably not going to be using the music bus, but you can always see if that works. But I have gone ahead and kind of tested this out a little bit. So I've got that muted. Wasn't really adding anything, and it was kind of a little bit of an overkill. So I have made my 2-track go out of the stereo bus because this is a parallel process. And we're also going out the drum bus, the drum crush, and the music bus. I just have those all set up, and I've muted the music bus because it didn't sound that great. So 2-track is going out through some parallel processing, and I think it really adds something to it with the drum bus and the drum crush. But once again, go through the combination, see what works best with your 2-track, because, hopefully we're all doing something a little bit different. Next is to take the lead vocal and have that output set to our parallel processing tracks here. Now this one does have kind of a second vocal here, a second lead vocal, but it's really kind of just the chorus or your hook, and then you've got your verses here. So I know that both of these tracks were recorded same day, same mic, same processing, all of that. So basically it's just one lead vocal. The other things down here are just some ad-libs, which they're not really the focus. So what I left was the background vocal bus, just a group. It's kind of, we're just grouping this track and this track together. We're just making things as simple as possible. That's kind of what mixing templates are. We're making this process as simple as possible using the things that we know works. And what I know that works is this lead vocal parallel processing, and also the drum and music and vocal parallel processing as well. So after making those decisions, if you do have two lead vocals in this style of music, then the template does come with a duplicate of the parallel lead vocal processing, and it's right here. These are the duplicates. So you would just, activate those and show them, and then those go out of the lead vocal bus 2. And all that's set up, that's going out to the lead vocal parallel bus as well. To recap that a little bit, your 2-track, I recommend sending to all of these, especially your stereo out, because that is your mix bus. And then go ahead and send them out to the other parallel buses, to the drum bus, to the drum crush, and the music bus, and just play those combinations. Here's a little bit of how I went about doing that. Okay, so in just trying a bunch of different combinations, I just found that these two sounded pretty good. And these levels are already calibrated for you, right? If you've checked out my mixing template video, I'll leave a link to that in the description so you can reference back or check it out for the first time. The drum bus, the drum crush, and the music bus are all adding back 1 dB of overall gain. The plugins that we have on that are the 33609, the Fatso, and then another 33609. And then we'll get to the vocal bus here in just a second. But for the drum bus, I need to not go over 4 dBs worth of compression. And so let's check that out. So that is what I like to call sitting pretty. If it was going over, then I'm going to pull back on the output fader on that track. And we're going to have it sit nicely right about here. For the Fatso, I kind of just want to see a bunch of lights. And for that, if it goes to 10, that's fine. I don't want to see anything lighting up on 15 here, but that looks good, sounds good. These you will not be touching. These over here are what you're going to be controlling the plugins with. So moving on to the vocals here. I've already made the decision that I'm going to be treating both of these as the same thing. So I'm sending both of those tracks out to 33, which is going through 3 different parallel processing. So let's see what that sounds like.
But it will be okay. Never even listen to a word that you say. Said you wouldn't leave me, but left me anyway. Told me all your lies and put thoughts in my head. I can only see that you were meant for me. Had to lose everything to get what I need. Should've closed that door a long time ago. Another lesson learned, I leave you alone. I could've left you alone when you were with your man. Came into my bar where I worked with the plan. Started talking to me, told me, add you on.
Okay, so when you get these, they may be all up at 0. I would recommend pulling all of them down a little bit so that you're not blowing the speakers out, and then just seeing what works. So for this style of music, the vocal buzz, which is giving it a little bit more of that grit, a little bit more fuzz on the vocal, this sounds pretty good. So I've got that up a little bit more than, say, some of the, more rock or Americana country style music that I mix. With the Fatso, we're just adding kind of some more weight to it. Just kind of helps brings it out front. And then with the 1176, adding a little bit more character to the vocal and just leveling everything out, making it pretty clear. So what I'll do is I'm going to bypass all of them, see what that sounds like, and then bring them in.
But it will be okay. Never even listen to a word that you say. Said you wouldn't leave me, but left me anyway. Told me all your lies and put thoughts in my head. I can only see that you were meant for me.
So as you can see, it's pushing things out, but it's also polishing it. It's just making it sound like it's supposed to go along with the music. And sometimes some of the most challenging mixes that I get are with vocals in a 2-track, because this vocal was recorded on top of that 2-track. They're just listening back to it, recording over it. And so you kind of have to push it into the music a little bit, but also keep it up front at the same time. And sometimes that can be a little difficult, and it just takes a little practice. Now, the next thing that I would probably do with this vocal to achieve that is do some more processing on here. But since this video is just showing you how to merge your 2-track and vocal with this template, I won't get too much into that unless that's something that you may want me to go into, and then we can do a whole mixing session on the style of music. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. The only other thing that we need to go over is that this lead vocal bus is going out through our mix bus or our stereo, and the vocal bus, which is another parallel processing. So we'll take a look at that.
But it will be okay. Never even listen to a word that you say. Said you wouldn't leave me, but left me anyway. Told me all your lies and put thoughts in my head. I can only see.
So what that's doing is adding 2 dBs worth of gain back in after being compressed here. And really with this one, I leave it at the transparent vocal. It's just adding a little bit more polish and filling, all of our dynamics a little bit more. And I just feel like it's something that's helping the vocal cut through, but not dance on top of the 2-track. And then, of course, right here is where you're going to be adding all of your effects. I've got the reverb and echo and delay here. Also chamber, you know how I feel about that. And that's basically it. Like I said, if you would like to see a more in-depth of mixing with a 2-track and vocal into a template, let me know in the comments and I will certainly do that. But this was just to give you a little bit more direction on how to use this template with that style of production. If you did find this video helpful and you got something out of it, please consider giving it a like. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you'll know when more of these videos come out. All right, thanks for watching, y'all. We'll talk soon.